Hello gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming. I am super excited now to show you this idea that we have been working on for a while. This is an idea that I am calling That's Novel, a solo RPG engine. The idea here is that you can grab a novel, make a simple tool, use our rule set in your imagination, and you will have limitless possibilities for your own solo role-playing games. Ta-da! To accompany this video, I have also made a PDF reference sheet that you are able to download in the link below for free and follow along as we go through the important pieces of this solo RPG engine. In addition, feel free to hold on to this and use it if you want to try out this game on your own. Before we jump into the rules, let's just say something briefly about the supplies that you will need. The first thing and the most important thing you will need is a novel. The novel that I'm going to be using for this example is the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. It's the first of the 3 books that I will be using for my examples. You can use tons of different kinds of books, and here's what's really cool about this system is that the genre of the game is going to be determined by the genre of the novel that you select. So in this case, I'm going to be doing a fantasy solo role-playing example, but you could just as well play a sci-fi game if you have a sci-fi book. You could do a mystery game if you have a mystery book, maybe something like a Sherlock Holmes book. You could do a Western kind of genre. You could do gothic horror, cyberpunk, steampunk, and even children's literature. So basically, the novel that you choose will be the basis for the type of solo role-playing game that you want to play. The second thing that you will need is what I'm calling the novel tool. Now, I made this one myself out of fake leather. The dimensions are listed in the document, but we have 10 centimeters by 5 centimeters. And then we have this window in the center, and I made a 5 centimeter window, 0.75 centimeters, almost a whole centimeter tall. You want to be able to get lines of text in here, a single line of text that you can read in that window. So don't make it too big, but also don't make it too small. And then what I've done is I went ahead and I had these little stickers, stars. I cut the ends off and just glued them here in the middle. These arrows are going to be important for some of the mechanics that you will be using in your solo role-playing sessions. And finally, it would be good for you to have a copy of the PDF reference sheet as you play your solo role-playing game to help you out with some of the rules and mechanics. Let's go ahead and dive into the rules now. The basic mechanic that you're going to be using for this system is that you're going to be using your tool as a way of getting prompts and getting numbers that you'll be working with in your game. As you see here, what we'll be doing is we'll be setting this tool in random places on random pages and either using the window and what the text says inside of the window, or we will be using the arrows to point to specific words. So let's say I turn to this random page and threw down my tool. If I'm looking for a prompt, you can see here what I have in here is this text. I could use any of these words or these phrases in order to begin. I like this phrase, could fly over mountains. We're going to start our game off with the idea of flying over a mountain. If I'm looking for a specific number or a word, I could use the arrows here, and you see I'm looking at the word over with 4 letters. Now that we have our genre selected, the fantasy genre, let's go ahead and start forming our character. In order to set your character's starting level, you may either choose from level 0 to 5 or randomly assign the level by using the tool to select a random word where the number of letters equals the level, and maximum level 5. For longer campaigns, you will want to begin at level 0 or 1 and advance 1 level each session or after milestone achievement. For this example, let's go ahead and assign our character level 2, intermediate. And what this means now is that our character will have a bonus of +2 and we will have 20 hit points to start out. Let's go ahead now and give our character a name. And for this, we have a specific name generator. Select a random word using the tool, take any syllable of this word, and the first syllable typically works the best, and combine this with any syllable of another random word, and repeat this as needed until you are satisfied with the result. So let's go ahead and actually try to figure out what our character might be called. We've opened up to a random page, so let's go ahead and throw down our tool and see what we can find. Let's not use the name Frodo, but we can use F-R-O. Frohal. Frohal will be our name. F-R-O-H-A-L. So there we go. We have a character with a name. Our character's name is Frohal, and this is going to be a level 2 character, which means we have a bonus of +2. In addition, we have 20 hit points we will be starting out with. Now, there are different weapons that we can have, and for the sake of simplicity in this game, character-wielded weapons are divided into 3 types. We have bodily weapons, fists, feet, bodily attacks, for example, and that gives us a weapon damage bonus of +1. We have blunt weapons like clubs, rocks, hilts, metal pipes. They give us a weapon damage bonus of +2. And then we also have piercing weapons like swords, axes, bullets, lasers, depending on the genre. Weapon damage bonus of +3. So we will go ahead right now to begin and give our character a sword. And that will give us a +3 damage bonus when we attack and hit. And we also have armor. Armor reduces the amount of damage suffered by an attack. We have light armor, which takes away 1 point to the damage suffered. Medium takes away 2 points, and heavy armor takes away 3 points. Well, let's go ahead and assign our character light armor. So we will write light armor here and -1 damage. If we ever suffer any damage, we will take immediately 1 point off of that. All right, we have a character ready to go, so let's go ahead and dive into the meat of this solo RPG engine. The first thing we're going to look at is prompts, and for prompts, we're going to be using your tool and the window function of the tool. One of the most important mechanics for this system is the prompts mechanic. The way you'll do this is that you will open the novel to a random page and place the tool over a set of words. Now grab any word or phrase within the window that is relevant and employ the result to shape the narrative. And you may repeat this process as needed. Here is an example of a fantastic prompt. You see the text here within the window. The sound of hoofs drew nearer. Now, this would be a great prompt to start your solo RPG session off with. It's also a great prompt to use later on when you need some fresh idea for how to help you develop your narrative. And you can also use the same method that we're using here for determining random events from an oracle result of 1 or 2. We'll talk about the oracle in a second, but if you need a random event, this would be fantastic. Let's say your group is out on a road, and here is the random event. Suddenly, the sound of hooves are drawing near to the group, and you can develop that as your imagination allows you. Another important mechanic for this RPG engine is the oracle. Now, oracle results are determined by the number of letters in the word or words randomly selected. And I have divided up the oracle in this way. Odd numbers will be no answers. So if you have a word with 1 letter, it will be no but. And then if you'd like to, you can insert a random event. If you get a 3, it will be no. 5 will be no and. 7 plus will be no and. The evens will represent yes answers. So 2 will be a yes, but, and here you may insert a random event that complicates the yes answer. 4 would be yes, 6 would be yes, and 8 plus would be yes, and. Now, there's different ways that you can use this oracle. If you're looking for a 50-50 chance answer to a question, just select 1 random word and go with that answer. Now, if you think it is a likely answer, you may select 2 words and take the more favorable result of the 2. And if you think it is an unlikely answer, you may select 2 words and take the less favorable result. So let's give a couple examples here. Let's continue on with our example of hooves on the road. There are horses coming towards our adventuring party. The question is, are they able to get off the road quickly enough without being seen? Well, let's say it's a 50-50 chance. Let's open our book up and throw down our device, and I got the word old inside of the arrows there. Old is 3, and that would be on our oracle chart a no. So they are unable to get off of the road quickly enough. They are spotted, and now we need to develop the narrative further based on that answer. Let's go ahead and try an oracle question where the answer is weighted. And we will ask this question, are the horses from the royal guard. So in other words, is it the king's horses that are out on the road? And we will say that this is a likely answer because the king usually patrols these roads. So a likely answer, what we'll need to do now is open our book, select two words, and take the more favorable result. Let's throw our first one down, and the first word we get is answered, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would be a yes and. And let's throw our next one down. Could is that word, and that has 5 letters. So the more favorable result here is obviously the number 8, yes and. So we can say this: yes, it is in fact the king's men, and they recognize the group, and they have come to gather together the group because the king has requested a meeting with them. This was a nice example of how to get a weighted answer from the oracle, and then we got a very clear positive yes and with an 8, and we got a very clear negative with a no and. So it's very clear which one is the more favorable of these two. Sometimes it might be a little less clear. So let's say we were looking for a likely answer and we got 1 and 5 as a result. Which of these two is in fact more favorable? They're both no. Well, if you look at them, you see one is a no but, so it's no but something positive or favorable happens, and 5 is no and, so there's a double negative there. Well, obviously the 1 is going to be more favorable when we are looking for a likely answer, so we will take the 1 and interpret our answer with that result. We can go ahead now and say something about skill checks. When your character wants to accomplish a particular task, you're required to make a skill check. Now, there are really 2 different ways that you can do that in this game. One is a little more complicated way, and one is a bit simpler way. Let's begin with the more complicated way. Begin by setting a difficulty level for the task by selecting from the list below. And your tasks might be easy, which would be a 3, moderate would be 4 to 5, difficult would be 6 to 7, extreme would be 8 to 9, and near impossible would be 10 plus. So once you've determined the difficulty level, we can call that the DL, then select a random word and count the letters. Add your character bonus. If you meet or exceed the DL, the difficulty level, you succeed at that task. So let's use an example as we continue on with our story. Let's say that my character actually wants to try to hide from the king's soldiers. I do not want to go with them. Now remember, I am a level 2, which means I have a bonus of +2. I'm going to set this as a difficult task because the king's men have already seen us. They are riding over to us, and they are quite perceptive. So we will say a 6 or a 7. I need at least a 6 in order to succeed, to be able to hide from the king's men. Let's open up our book, throw down our tool to a random word, and we got a 5 from the word asked plus my 2. So I succeeded at this task, this difficult task, and I am able to hide now as the soldiers come close to us. For a simpler method for skill checks, you may merely ask the oracle if your character succeeds or not at a given task. Treat tasks easy or moderate for your character as likely, and tasks that are difficult, extreme, or near impossible as unlikely. Now, we have said in this example that hiding from the king's soldiers is going to be a difficult task. So the question is, are we able to hide, or is my character able to hide? Will be unlikely. We need to open up to a random page, find a random word. The first one is mean. That is 4 letters. That is yes. And the next one is going to be him, 3, and that is a no. So it is an unlikely result, which means we will take the less favorable, in this case, the 3. So the answer is no, we are unable to hide from the soldiers. We can go ahead now and say something brief about combat. Combat in this system is very simple. It's not as crunchy as a lot of games. The idea here is to have quick and easy combats that don't get you bogged down in too much of the mechanics. There are 3 important parts here. If you're going to hit a character when you're attacking, you use your character bonus plus the number of letters in a random word. So in our case, we have a bonus of +2. plus the number of letters in a random word. To evade an attack, you'll use your character bonus plus the number of letters in a random word. So it is the exact inverse of the to hit function. And finally, to do damage, you will take your weapon bonus plus the number of letters that you select from a random word to a maximum of 5 letters selected. So the maximum that you can get with, say, a piercing weapon would be 5 plus 3, 8 damage. Be sure as well when you are assigning damage to consider armor. So continuing with our example here, let's say that my character is unable to hide from the king's soldiers, and when I come over, one of the soldiers sees me appearing to hide or to run away, and he is immediately going to take an attack on me. Let's go ahead and give him a level 3, and we'll assign a word here, Brie 4, so that would be a 7. Now I'm going to try to evade that attack, so I will have a 2 plus my 4-letter word here, then. So that would be a 6. Well, no, the king's soldier would in fact hit me with his sword. Weapon bonus of a +3 for a sword, plus how much damage? Wow, that is a massive amount of damage, maximum 5. So that will be a total of 8 damage. I have light armor, so I take off 1 point of damage from that, meaning that I suffer 7 damage total, dropping me from 20 hit points down to 13. I am clearly in trouble, so I will immediately lay prone and not fight back. This is a pretty extreme example because I have soldiers of the king who have a pretty high level, level 3. You need to think that in the beginning of your campaigns, a lot of the people and the individuals you'll be running up against have a level 0 or level 1. So combats won't be as dangerous or deadly. But one thing that's really cool about this system is that things can get pretty deadly pretty quickly. So it's important to try to find alternative ways to accomplish your goals other than just jumping directly into combat. Numbers are really easy to figure out in this system. It's basically what we've been doing the entire time. You just open the page up, the book up to a random page, throw it on your tool, and look at what the arrows point to. So in this case, we're going to say there's a captain, and the captain has how many additional soldiers with him? And I got the word "the." THE, so we would say 3 additional soldiers. Now, if you have larger magnitudes, you can multiply the results by 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, so forth as needed. So maybe let's say that there was a large group that was walking through the woods or going through the woods. Let's multiply it by 10. So I got the word them, 4 times 10. We'll say there are 40 soldiers on horseback riding through the woods. But right now, let's just say we have our captain with 3 additional soldiers. And we've already used the name generator, but let's go ahead and do it again just to give this captain a name. Let's go ahead and throw our tool down. AR will be our first syllable. Erthed. I like that. ARTHED. Erthed is going to be the name of the captain. Well, there you have it, folks. A quick glimpse into this solo RPG engine that we have developed and that we are calling That's Novel. This is such a great little system if you're looking to get into solo role-playing. You really don't need much. All you need to do is find a really good novel, and it can be any genre. It could be fantasy, sci-fi, mystery, western, gothic horror, cyberpunk, steampunk, children's literature, anything. Grab a novel, make yourself a cheap little tool like this, follow along our rule system, and just dive into your solo role-playing games. Now, in the future, I'd like to make a few videos in which I actually show you how the gameplay of this can actually look. Keep your eyes out for that in the future. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please do give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel, and I will be sure to make more videos like this in the future. And don't forget about the free PDF reference sheet that you can access in the link below. Go ahead, download that, and give these rules a try and see if you like them. I would love to get your feedback and to get some response from you as the viewers. And most importantly, thank you all for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming for the future of gaming.